how's it going?
We're open if you want to come inside and look at all the displays.
Yeah, for sure. Is it free or?
Oh, absolutely.
Cool, sweet. Is it just in here or is it also in the train?
Well, the trains are just static.
Okay.
But you can come on inside in the baggage room. There's some display on the wall. There's displays for history of La Mesa.
Cool.
That gives you the history of the building here.
Sweet. Awesome.
We recently put a wooden railway in for the kids right inside the door here.
Okay.
And we're going to build a modular HO railroad in the baggage room.
Sweet. Okay.
So
Yeah.
you can change out the module so it's not always the same.
Oh, okay. Cool.
You have an interest in trains?
Yeah, I have an interest in history.
Well, today's your lucky day.
Sweet.
We're open Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, okay.
Noon to 3.
Every week or?
Every week, and then Saturdays it's open.
Okay.
It used to only be open us on Saturdays, so we've kind of stepped up the game.
Upped it a little bit. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So you lived in San Diego all your life?
Yeah.
Baggage room here.
Yeah.
On the right-hand side, go all the way to the far end, and then work this way on that big poster.
Okay.
It's some really cool stuff.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Awesome.
bet.
What's your name?
I'm Timothy.
Timothy.
My
Mason.
son BG's inside. Absolutely.
Thank you.
He's kind of still on the COVID, so he didn't like the.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Here you go.
Oh, cool. Sweet. Thanks.
So we're part of the Pacific Southwest Railroad Museum. We're located out of Campo.
Okay.
And so prior to getting the museum site, we had railroad cars and engines and stuff stored all over San Diego. Like there used to be a siding here.
Okay.
We'd keep cars and engines here.
Okay.
All right, and this was before trolley.
Okay.
And then about the time, late 70s, early 80s, about the time we got the site out at Campo, the guys found the depot.
Here in La Mesa.
Well, it was out past Lakeside.
Oh, okay.
It had been moved. If you read the thing in the
Foster.
building here, yeah, way out that way. So,
Near Foster?
I believe so.
Okay.
And so when we're moving all our stuff away, the city kind of missed having the trains, so they asked us to do the display,
over here?
and they gave us the site for the depot.
How cool is that? Okay.
It is.
I actually just found out about Stowe, the city of Stowe that used to be in Sycamore Canyon, and I guess the train was supposed to go out that way, but since it was in the canyon, they couldn't really get it back in that little nook, you know?
Now, you know of the... You've heard of the California Southern. It's the first railroad to come into San Diego.
I haven't, I'm not sure the name, but I might have heard of it.
It came down from Barstow.
Okay.
Came down through Temecula.
Okay.
Over the hills, and then over to Oceanside.
Okay.
All right. And went through Fallbrook.
Okay.
And then the rains washed out the lines, and so that's when the railroad rebuilt along the coast, the line we use today, along I-5.
Okay, and is that when they made it from San Diego out to Lakeside, or was
that was a different organization?
That was a different group?
And so that, California Southern became the Santa Fe. Okay. Which now is Burlington Northern Santa Fe.
Okay, and that's a station in downtown San Diego.
Well, that's the railroad company that runs through. Okay. There's all kinds of changes here, so it might take me a long time to go through
It's
this
okay,
and that
it's
and the
okay.
other. Like the Santa Fe tracks between the county line and the depot downtown.
Yeah.
Were Santa Fe.
Okay.
But they're now North County Transit.
Okay.
And then the railroads lease track space, so to speak. So Amtrak runs over those tracks, and Burlington Northern Santa Fe runs over those tracks.
Okay.
But they're owned by the commuter district.
Do you guys know anything about is it a trestle out in the desert?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know about that?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm trying to find the hike that leads to it, but I know it's in the...
arduous, and you really don't want to go out there in the summertime by yourself. So,
and you have to go to the hike, you said, is pretty long.
Well, we're always worried about people going out there and setting fires and having problems.
Okay.
Because it's pretty irreplaceable.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to replace it.
It's
It's the largest wooden trestle in the world.
And the trestle itself is the bridge that goes across.
It's the bridge, the wooden bridge.
And there are a few trains back there, right?
Well,
I think there's like one maybe that's abandoned or something, or...
Our museum operates on that line. So, okay. So the Santa Fe had a monopoly coming into town.
Okay.
Now, Southern Pacific and the Union Pacific were owned by a guy named Harriman. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ergel Harriman. He was ambassador to the U.S. back in the 70s.
I'm not sure.
Well, this was his grandpa.
Okay.
All right. So, you know Spreckles.
Spreckles Theater and whatnot.
He was a sugar guy. He lived in San Francisco. The earthquake destroyed his house, so he moved down here.
That's why he moved down here, because of the
Pretty
earthquake?
much.
Okay.
And I'm giving you the Reader's Digest.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you. I appreciate it, by the way.
And so Spreckles bought some of these little rail lines.
Okay.
He built the trolley, or he bought out the trolley. He put in San Diego Gas and Electric. He was a mover and a shaker.
Okay.
And just as a segue, him and his buddies went out and intercepted the Great White Fleet. Have you ever heard of the Great White Fleet? It was the first circumnavigation of the United States by a steel navy, like 1904.
Maybe.
Okay.
I looked into the military history.
This was after the Spanish-American War, when we started having steel battleships and all that kind of stuff. All right.
Okay.
So the Great White Fleet was supposed to sail into San Francisco.
Yeah.
Well, Spreckles and his buddies got on the yacht and went out and intercepted the fleet and said, hey, San Diego's going to give you a big welcome. Come on in.
Okay.
So they did.
Okay. And this was the Great White Fleet, you said?
Great White Fleet.
Okay.
So look it up in the history.
You have a gas.
Okay, well, I'm helping the guy here. So the midshipmen on that Great White Fleet were all the famous admirals that you hear of World War II.
Really? Of all the different branches and whatnot, or is it just
In the Navy.
In the Navy, so the Marine.
Nimitz, Michener,
Okay.
Struance.
Okay.
All those big name guys. They were midshipmen coming into San
Really?
Diego back in 1804.
On the Great White Fleet?
On the Great White
So
Fleet.
all the names you see on the boats, all the Nimitz and all those guys. Really?
Well, they're the ones that helped develop San Diego as a military port.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the names you see everywhere.
You know that the first ship, plane to take off and land on a ship was here in San Diego.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Okay, so we're getting the segue.
Okay.
So San Diego became an important place,
Okay.
but the Union Pacific, Southern Pacific didn't have a way to get in here.
Huh.
So
Is that
they
where?
went silent partners with Spreckles to build the San Diego and Arizona Railroad.
Okay.
San Diego Railroad started in downtown, went to Tijuana,
Okay.
went down into Mexico, came out in Tecate.
Okay.
And this map doesn't show it, but we got maps inside.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Let's go back in here and I can show it.
Glad you have a gas, guys.
Hi there. How are you today?
Hi.
Thanks for dropping by.
I'm just keeping. I know.
And this was the actual. Was this the actual building back then that we're in right now?
Yeah, it's been, well, it got turned into a chicken coop, so there was a lot of decay and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
But we saved the core of the structure.
Wow.
Okay, so here we are up in here.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is the San Diego and Arizona. So it went down into Mexico.
This is Mexico down here.
There's
Okay.
the boundary.
Okay.
Come back up through Campo where we have our museum at.
Okay.
Went around. Here's where the big canyon is, Carrizo Gorge up there. And then it went out to El Centro.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
All right. So, Spreckles was the front man for the railroad.
Okay.
The investors were back east, like Harriman.
Right.
So they're building the railroad. It was very expensive to build
Okay.
because they had to go through Carrizo Gorge and there's lots of hillside. All
They
this
had to
stuff.
cut through a bunch of
Oh,
mountains and
tunnels,
stuff.
all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
So, and the topography is such that was the easiest way to do it. They
And
didn't-
is the trestle on here? I'm curious. I'm sorry.
it's right in here. Right in there. Carrizo Gorge.
That's where the trestle is. Okay.
Okay, so Harriman died, and the SP wanted their money back.
Okay.
So they went to court. So it ended up that the railroad would not give Spreckles any more money, so he had to complete it on his own dime.
Okay.
But they were a partner, so to speak.
And he already had money, so he was able to kind of.
Well, it drew into his funds quite a bit.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, when Harriman died, the railroad wanted their money back.
How did that? How did that?
So, they went to court, and so SP was an investor.
Okay.
So Spreckles finished it on his dime. When Spreckles died,
Hey, Dad.
his heirs sold it to the Southern
Dad.
Pacific. Yes.
We got a kid with ants in his pants.
He needs to go to the bathroom. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So it became part of the Southern
And
Pacific.
he didn't have any money then, so he was just kind of getting it up on his own. He was getting investors to come in and help out.
Well, but his money, I mean, he was rich, but it took a lot of money to build the railroad.
Aside from the speed bumps in the process.
So when Spreckles died, his heirs sold their half to the Southern Pacific.
Okay.
So it was always a separate entity.
Okay.
I mean, you see engines coming through and they say Southern Pacific, but they would be on a lease or something like that.
And
for accounting purposes, they were always separate.
Okay, okay.
All right,
okay.
for accounting. Okay. 1974.
Is that the same? Sorry, is that the same train that you see downtown right now? The long one that you see at nighttime go through downtown. It goes
is
down.
it north of downtown? Is it north of the
I
convention
think
center?
it comes from Mexico into downtown.
Well, if you see a train leaving downtown going north, then that's the Santa Fe.
Okay, okay,
Spreckles track went south.
okay.
Now, in '74, Hurricane Kathleen came through, wiped out a lot of the bridges, washouts, all kinds of stuff.
Especially in the desert and whatnot.
Okay, so Southern Pacific wanted to abandon it.
Okay.
About that same time, MTS, Metropolitan Transit Service,
And this was
wanted to start trolley service.
This is in the 70s in San Diego.
Late 70s.
Okay.
So MTS wanted to start this trolley service. So they bought from here to here, and from here to here,
Okay.
and this line out here.
Even out. Where is this right here? This is right before it gets into the desert on the. Okay.
So, is he coming in here? Is he bothering you? Leave him alone.
What a cool. That's a cool little map.
Okay, and you can find it online.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so
And this was in the 70s. He started the MTS bot. You said from about this.
Coyote Wells
Coyote Wills and about.
to the border,
Okay.
and then from the border to downtown, and the line that we're on out here.
Okay. Okay.
All right,
That goes up to East County.
to Santee.
Okay.
Goes up to Santee.
Wow.
Okay. San Diego Trolley didn't have to worry about NIMBY saying you can't do this and you can't do that. They were the cheapest transit startup in the country.
And it was independent, so they didn't.
MTS, they owned the track
Okay.
when they bought out the railroad.
Okay.
All right. So here's this isolated section out here, and they've tried to have people that operate on it. This has always been owned by the Mexican government.
Okay.
All right, that's Baja Rail right now.
And that still runs. This
Oh, yeah.
is still active.
Yeah.
And it crosses. It
Well,
crosses.
how do you think? How do you think they get the grain for the brewery?
Right. Right.
Comes in in big covered grain hoppers.
When they go across the border, do they just go? They don't have to stop. Obviously,
There's
a check and whatnot.
Everything,
I'm always curious about that. Like, how do they check this long train?
They do it. They do it. Well, it's not that long. I mean, the majority of the stuff that you're seeing does come into the San Diego area.
Okay.
There's stuff that goes down into Mexico too, but they've been doing this for years.
Okay.
So we operate down in here on a railroad museum.
Okay. And there is another museum in Campo, like this one.
Well, we're part of it.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
That's where we have our train rides. We give train rides on the weekends.
I may have been there when I was a kid.
Probably.
I may have been. I'm not sure.
This weekend we're doing the bunny train, so if you know some younger people.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
So I'm trying to give you a Reader's Digest of railroad history in San Diego and how we fit into it.
I thought I was only going to be able to just get like a little, just walk by the train and check it out. I didn't realize this was going to be open.
Start over there in the corner and work this way. Start reading that. You're
Okay.
gonna learn all about it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, well, so we get it, like, 50 miles.
We're way out here. So the easiest way is to go out 8 and down to Stockton Springs and follow the signs.
How long is the train?
It's about an hour.
I'll take the money.
We go Yeah, well, if the train sold out, I have to go in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
So you can buy tickets online. Or our website.
Okay, that's good. That's awesome. He goes trains.
Well, there's lots of train stuff here in San Diego.
Yeah, there is a lot of train, yeah.
Have you been to Grace Mountain Center?
No. Is that close by?
Well, not today. But they have some trains on Tuesdays and Saturdays.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Grace Mountain Mall?
No.
Okay. It's over by the food court. It's like a storefront that they lease and put a lot of trains in.
Oh, nice.
Okay. And then there's the Model Railroad Museum in Old Town. It's kind of
Oh, I know San Diego, I've been there, but we haven't gone to the train area.
It's a built business. So you can find it if you
Very easy.
Old Town Train Museum or something like that.
Okay.
Then there's the Model Railroad Museum in Belleville Park.
Oh, this one is at Borough Park?
In the basement, across the hall, next to the Ruben Plate Space
Oh,
Theater.
yeah, no, we just went to the Ruben Place.
Well, this is next door in the basement.
Oh, there is a
Huge.
Oh, we should go there, partner, this afternoon. Because the Borough Park is very close by.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, now, this is the Chula Vista Live steamers. And they run in Lower Park,
Okay.
way down in Lower Park, and you can ride on the train. And they only do it on certain weekends,
I see.
okay? You can actually ride on that train.
Okay, sounds great.
We want to ride it on that.
Do you know that Borough Park is open today?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it should be, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and is the building next to it?
It's next to the Ruben Plate Space Theater down underneath.
Okay.
It's downstairs.
It's-
It's a Model Railroad. Well, really, you know where the fountain is, really.
It's called Modern Railroad. Okay, museum. All right, perfect, thank you so much. In the meantime, you can go inside here to straight, right?
Well, there's nothing open.
Nothing to
Just
see.
look at it.
Okay.
The building is an office.
Oh, I see.
Now, what we are doing is we're getting ready to open a party caboose out at our museum site. People can have birthday parties and stuff. So that's coming later this year.
Okay, Mark, we're done.
You want this?
You want, like, to bring in the car, so you can see. 35 more minutes, that's it. We take some magazines to go? This is ready, the main one. Okay.
You want to go or you already found it?
Oh, sorry. Oh, perfect. Perfect, that's what we're gonna get today.
Okay.
Thank you so much for all the help.
Sure.
Oh, Parker, these are wonderful trains to look at.
We're just trying to help.
Yes, of course, thank you.
This is where people have trains in their backyards. Or garden roll. Oh, people put them all over the place. In fact, there's a San Diego Garden Railway Club.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. We've been members for years and you get to go to people's backyards and see their trains.
That is super cool.
So, telegraph.
Oh, cool. That's pretty cool.
And then the old phones where you crank it up. And
Yeah.
all the phones up and down the line would ring and then you find out. And of
Okay.
course, this is hands-free telephone back here. You put this on your head and you'd be hands-free.
Yeah, okay.
Because the guy would be like copying orders, doing stuff like that.
Right. Thank you, I appreciate it.
You just have my lunch first.
Okay. be working on an old railroad for back in here. So keep on coming by and checking out our
Okay,
progress,
that's
And
great.
also, I'm building 6 building modules.
Well, it's gonna be modular so we can change out the scenes.
Oh, depending on the
Season
time of the
or
year,
whatever.
A lot of cool
Yeah,
stuff in
you
here.
don't-
Yeah, I'm
you
building
don't
6
always
building
look the same.
modules.
Which is
Really?
great.
Yeah, huh?
That's pretty
You
cool.
can go
Yeah.
multiple times and don't get bored.
That's right.
that Thomas?
Enjoy when you're filming on that.
You know, this makes me a lot happier to have a smartphone, so I don't have to pull this out of my
I know,
pocket
like
and use it all
camcorder,
day.
camcorder, and also and doing as many pictures. I remember my cousin.
It's nice to go home and watch it back, you know?
Yeah, like reminiscing, huh?
Right, absolutely. And I didn't even think you could come in here. I thought you were only able to look at the
You
trains.
can put it on the comments and put that tip on.
Oh, okay, cool. This is
That's-
really cool.
This is where I put my adventures, like trains, movies, and all that stuff.
Oh, okay, cool. And this is all original? This building has been here for a long time?
I know, right?
It's cool. Well, thank you, I appreciate it.
And if you have any questions, if you have any questions about autism with trains, just let us know.
What's your name, man?
I'm BJ. I have autism. Airpilot.
Absolutely, man. It's
You
nice
don't
to
want
meet
to lose the Daytona War.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's nice to meet you, man.
And also, if you have any questions, if you have any questions,
Is this an original suitcase, right? Was this here?
no.
How cool is that, though?
Yeah, and if you have any questions about anything else, if you have any questions, just please let us know.
I might take one of these little pamphlets, too. You guys have
It's
a...
Operation Life, sir.
Oh, okay. How cool is this?
Yeah, feel free to take one.
Okay, cool. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, huh?
What's this stuff back here? Just another part of the building and stuff?
No.
Oh, that's a scale. Okay.
That's a scale. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even see.
You better save up your battery, man.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
It's like a old school scale.
Just be careful at the door.
Oh, wow.
You want me to close the door after you're done with it?
Oh, it's cool. Just pop it like that. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Classic little ticket sign. How cool is that?
Yep, that's good.
Just imagine coming in here at a time, you know? This stuff right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on. How much time do you have?
3 minutes.
Okay, I just want to give you a heads up on that. I don't want to get rid of you. I'm just trying to make sure.
That's no problem.
I'm just trying to give you a heads up reminder. Not to be
Actually,
rude.
it's one.
I know.
Wow, check out this thing.
That's a coal for finding up the fire in the winter.
Right, this is an old school one too. How cool is that?
I know, right?
On there with the clip.
Okay.
So as the train came by, the crew would put their arm through and snag the string with their orders.
This was just on by a clip, so they would grab the whole string
You put your hand through, just go like that.
and it just come off.
And it comes off.
And was this found in this building when you guys did the restoration?
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean,
But this is what they used pretty
this
much.
is what you'd use to pick up your train orders.
Wow. Okay.
So you'd be standing there in an engine, you'd be up like this.
And the guy just goes like that and catches it.
Yep,
Wow.
yep.
Huh.
And so they'd unread it, and they'd have their new orders for up the line. You're going to meet train number 5, pull into the siding at such and such.
They're gonna have this for you or whatever, waiting.
Yeah. And so, as the train would move along, you know, they'd leave with train orders, but along the way, they would get modified by the situations.
Who would
that
have
were happening.
thought?
And first they used hoops like this.
It's a little bit more primitive, a little bit more just
Right.
simple, you know?
But then they'd have to throw the hoop off.
Okay.
So with this, they'd hoop up the orders.
And this was just a little clip that pressed against it.
So you never lost your holder.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't
So
know.
they called it hooping up your order.
Is there a new way that trains do this? Like, do they
Yeah, it's all
have,
on computer.
aside from that, do they have any reason why they would manually need to get a message? I mean,
Well,
there's
with-
no
with-
reason, is there?
The last time I saw somebody hooping up orders, I believe was about 85.
Okay.
Now, we do it for show at the museum sometimes.
In Campo?
Yeah, but it's like a special occasion where they'll do something like that just for, you know, it's dead.
You said the Campo one's a part of this location, or this location's a part of the Campo?
Right, Pacific Southwest Railroad Museum.
Okay, okay. I've never been out there.
Well, I guess you need to go. You got a brochure now, right?
Right. This is an old safe right here?
Right, but if you'll notice it says Santa Fe on it, so.
Okay.
What they did is they tried to replicate what had been there years ago. I mean,
Time appropriate.
When you consider that this building ceased to be a depot in 1954.
1954, and then they just kind of wanted to get older
And
stuff.
when they found it, it looked like that.
Okay.
That's it, when they found it.
Pretty much just like a little shack. How cool is that, though? This is so cool right here.
I lived on 30th Street, San Diego, between Laurel and Calmia. We were in the first suburb of San Diego.
Like North Park area?
Want to fill the other one? Air brake system, the brakes are released when there's pressure in the line.
Okay.
When you lose pressure, the brakes come on.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
All right, so when the train breaks apart, you lose pressure in the line, the brakes come on.
Okay. So when there's failure in the line, brakes apply, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Now,
Sweet.
I'm not going to open them up right now, but these are friction bearings.
Inside here.
There's a friction bearing. There's a brass that's got a babbited surface,
Okay.
and the axle sits on that, and the oil lubricates it.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
If it runs out of oil, it's going to catch fire.
The whole.
No, that's steel. That's not going to. But inside,
Okay.
oil inside, and there's cotton waste or a pad.
It just combust.
That would rub on there.
Okay.
All right. And then they'll heat up and they'll snap off.
Okay.
And you'll have a train wreck.
Oh.
So the guys in the caboose are looking for smoke, stuff like that.
Anything kind of billowing out from underneath or whatever?
Could be. The brakes could be sticking in. The oil would go back onto the wheel from the journal, and so when the brakes are dragging, they would heat up the wheel and make the smoke, make the oil smoke. So,
okay.
So you could see smoke, but different things cause smoke. So the train breaks in two.
Right.
Well, one guy gets off and he walks that way a mile or two.
Okay.
With a red flag or a lantern to warn the train behind them that they have had a problem.
That we're done. We're stopped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that gives you time to stop.
Okay.
All right.
If
And the
that
other
guy,
goes
if that guy
forward.
makes it down there in time for the train, right?
Well, he's got a lantern, he's got a flag.
they'll see.
They can see him.
Okay.
But normally, that's the way it worked. The other guy would be walking forward to find out what the problem is.
Okay.
Now, there's an engineer and a fireman on the front end.
All right.
Plus, there was a head brakeman. Well, the other head brakeman's walking the other direction of the train to find out where the problem is.
Okay. Huh.
All right. So now you're going to have two guys meet at the problem area, and they might be able to fix it or whatever.
Right.
Okay. So that's the way the old stuff worked.
It's rivets.
And if you're on a single track railroad, you might have had the brakeman go north or forward a little bit as well. Depends on the situation.
Just to
all that
make
type
sure
of
you
stuff.
guys are okay. Wow, look at these.
So you can see this was built in 642. There's the build date on it right there.
Okay. The month and then the year.
Yep.
Wow.
And the part number. These are leaf springs, so they're a little cushier riding than the coil springs. So you'll have the leaf springs on cabooses and passenger cars. They're a little softer.
And these are what these are right here.
That's the leaf spring.
Leaf
right
spring.
there.
Wow.
Here you got coil springs.
And these are for like the box cars, yeah?
Well, freight cars. Okay, now what you're looking at right here is a refrigerator car. And it was owned by a company called Pacific Fruit Express, and it was a joint venture between the Union Pacific and the Southern Pacific.
Okay.
And what they would do is there's hatches up on the roof, and they'd drop 500-pound blocks of ice down in a bunker on each end.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then they had a fan system inside to blow the cold air around. And this is a drain for the condensate to come out. Okay?
All right.
So you can see that this truck was made for Pacific Fruit Express.
In January of '57?
Right?
Okay.
So this is one of the last ice refrigerator cars built.
Really?
Because then they went into the diesel-powered refrigeration units, and now they just put a truck nose
Okay.
reefer on a container.
Okay. I see how they do that now. All right.
But this had all kinds of insulation in it,
Oh,
and even in the summertime,
wow.
it's nice and cool inside. And so this is kind of our storeroom here for
Oh, wow. Okay.
keeping stuff.
You guys just kind of put stuff up in here?
Well, it's my place. Let's not do that.
Oh, okay. Okay. All
Letting
right.
people know of all our
Yeah, no,
all of
for
our
sure.
secrets. All right?
Okay. Okay.
All right.
That's interesting though. So you guys just kind of use it as
Storage
like
unit.
a storage spot? Cool. Wow, look at this.
Well,
Jesus.
if you figure that timber's over 100 years old and it's weathered.
That's the original stuff that they used right there, right?
Yeah, it's oak.
They didn't put in, this isn't like a replacement or anything?
Probably not. I'm guessing that's the oak. It could have been replaced. You know, if there was damage, if they had a wreck or something like that, but that's probably 100 years old or close to it. These have probably been replaced dozens of times.
Wow, okay.
All right.
And those are the, wow.
Okay, so did you watch Thomas the Tank Engine as a kid?
I did.
Well, this is an American Thomas. It's a tank engine.
Oh, so it's actually called a Thomas.
No, it's a tank engine. It's an 060 tank engine.
Okay.
No wheels in the front, 6 drivers, no wheels in the back. 060. That's the same thing, Thomas. Now, Thomas is a British version, and the British guys like to do things a little differently than we do.
Right.
Okay.
So there's typically no wheels right on the front, and then in the back they just have these in the middle right
For
here.
an 060 switch engine.
Okay.
For a big mainline engine, you want the wheels in the front and the back for guiding through curves and for supporting the firebox.
Wow.
Okay, and the bigger drivers give you better, faster speed.
Okay.
So this tank here is full of oil for fuel,
Okay.
and this tank here is full of water for making the steam.
So this is water in that tank, and then
Oil in that tank.
oil in that one right there. Okay.
And this engine's a little unusual that they had a saddle oil tank. Normally there would be a tank on the back or a coal bunker in the back for coal.
Okay.
And that's what Thomas has. Oh, the name of the company is there. I don't think it was Porter, it was the other one. Okay, so you're seeing the outside of the firebox. Okay, now.
And the inside.
All right, these are bolts.
Yes.
It's called a stable. It's got a hole on it, so in case it's broken on the back side, it'll leak water so you know that it's broken.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, focus here on me for a second. You might want to turn that off just behind the sheet. It's behind the sheet.
Okay.
Those are just rivets.
Okay.
But see my two hands here? You got to plug that.
Okay.
So that's the mud ring down there. That's the lowest part of the boiler.
Okay.
So this is your blow off. So sediments settle down to the bottom of the boiler when you're making steam.
Okay.
Because all water has sediments in it.
And
you can't see it.
Okay.
And so you blow it out.
All
you
right.
get rid of the sediments.
Okay.
Okay?
And that's what that is right there.
That's your blowdown right there. And that'll come out there. That'll hit that building over there.
How big?
That'd pressure wash that building over there if this engine was running.
Okay.
That steam would come out that far.
And it would kill anyone if they were like right
well,
here.
It would
It's-
give them a very hot
It'd
shock.
blast them away.
Well,
real quick.
yeah, it's boiling.
Okay.
It's boiling.
How big is this box where they have all the?
Well, you can see it fits between the frames, so there's frames.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Well, the firebox is a big open area. In here, there'll be a sheet. It'll be like the wall of the front of the
Okay.
firebox area.
Okay.
And the back side is just like this. It's got a hole for the firebox door, but otherwise there's the water surrounds this on.
Is that where they're shoveling the coal into it?
Well, either shoveling or opening the fire door to inspect your fire.
Okay.
All right, because
Okay.
remember, this is an oil burn.
All right.
Hey guys, how
Hey.
you doing?
Good.
Basically empty inside. That's called a smoke box.
Okay.
It's hollow in there. All right, now let's go back again.
All right.
We're making steam.
Right.
All right, steam will go to the highest point in the boiler, so that's a steam dome up there.
Okay.
The throttle's up there.
Okay.
So
Up
you
at this
open-
point right there.
inside that dome up there.
Okay.
It's a steam dome. All right, you collect that steam, you go through the throttle,
And the steam collects up in this
no,
part right. Okay.
comes into this is called a cylinder saddle. There's piping coming in on the inside of this saddle.
Okay.
All right, and there's ports. And the steam comes in here, and there's a U-shaped valve that moves back and forth.
Okay.
And so it puts steam on this side,
All right.
exhaust on the other side.
Okay.
So as this is going, you're putting steam on this side, exhaust. Steam on this side, exhaust.
Constantly.
Constantly.
Okay. Okay.
All right? So on this side, every time the piston moves, it's giving you a power stroke.
Okay.
All right? So
Okay.
it's double acting, if you will.
Okay.
All right?
So is this?
That's an installation.
This is the piston.
It's inside.
But this itself, this whole
We
piece
call it a cylinder.
is the piston that pushes
That's the cylinder.
the cylinder. I'm sorry, the cylinder that pushes the
Piston
piston.
inside houses the piston. It hits the piston rod. It hits the crosshead. It hits the main rod. It gives your action to your main driver.
And then it just connects to all three.
The side rods.
Okay, my
Okay?
fault. My
All
fault.
right. Now, that steam that's exhausted,
Yes.
right? It's no longer doing work.
Right.
It goes up through a nozzle and out the stack.
Okay.
That's what gives you your chuff.
The smoke that billows off the.
It gives you your exhaust of
What
steam.
What's it called?
It's your exhaust.
You said the
Steam.
the scuff.
It goes up
Before
the-
that, you said scuff or the
It gives you your chuff.
chuff. Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
As it's shooting up through that steam is shooting up through the stack, It's creating a Venturi effect. It's sucking in air and hot gases through the boiler.
Okay.
You know how you have to put a chimney on a fire and a stove?
Yeah.
Your heater at home has a chimney?
Right, right. You
Well-
have to have one pretty much.
Well, it gives you your draft.
Okay.
Big power plants, remember they have big chimneys?
It gives some kind of flow.
Well, this doesn't have a big chimney, so it doesn't have natural drafting.
Okay.
So we put in forced draft by having the exhaust create the draft.
So it pretty much sucks the draft through it.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
those are called eccentrics. See those thingies in there?
Yeah.
And as the wheel goes, the axle turns, they go like this.
Okay.
See my hands? They go like that.
Okay.
All right. Well, they're moving this link in here. The link isn't attached right now, but there's two rods, and they rock that link.
And this is what this is right here?
Well, that raises and lowers the link.
The link is...
That curve piece in there. See that big curve piece? See how it's
Oh,
curved?
yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Now,
That guy right down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
all right. Now, in the middle of that link, there's a block that's attached to right here. If you follow it down, you look on the other side and you'll see the opposite.
Okay. And it connects down.
And it rides in the middle of that link.
Okay.
And that link makes that thing move back and forth like this. All right?
Okay. Makes this
No, this right here, this piece.
piece right here. Okay.
See, it's got a pivot in it. See, there's a pivot right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
All right, it moves this thing back and forth.
Okay.
All right. If you follow that back, this is the thing that puts the steam on one side or the other of the piston. That's your slide valve.
Okay.
That's your valve. So that's called your valve gear.
Okay.
And by moving that link around, you can make the engine reverse or go forward by where you put.
Oh. So it's a gear.
valve.
It's a gear. Yeah?
It's a valve.
Okay.
Valve gear.
Okay.
Gear means a bunch of stuff. When you say gear,
Is 1, 2, 3, 4 and
It's
neutral and
gear means components.
Okay. That's just forward and back.
This is the components that can make the engine reverse or make how much or how little steam you're going to use.
Oh. Control the power. Yeah.
You can.
Okay.
So there's two ways to control power, by the throttle and by the valve gear.
Okay. The valve gear.
That's your valve gear down in there.
Down in here is the valve gear. Okay.
Yeah, and that determines when the engine's going to give it power and which way it's going to give it. This is your triple valve.
The triple valve,
Yeah.
and this is what you fill up for the brakes.
That's the res, and that's the brake cylinder.
Okay, cool.
See the rigging coming out of the brake cylinder on that end to move the linkage to apply the brakes.
Wow. Cool.
Civilization came with the train in 1889. Then you could make the trip to San Diego in half an hour or in 2 hours by wagon.